2K Show.
What is up, 2K crew? It is that time of the week again. It is Sunday. It is podcast day. And man, oh man, was it hard to get in the studio tonight because the weather here is absolutely gorgeous. It has been all week, for the most part, but mostly this weekend, absolutely perfect. If you could tell me that the weather would be like this every single weekend here in Michigan, I would be ecstatic. I'm not a big fan of the snow, but I digress. We do live in Michigan. It is kind of a norm around here. But yes, we are live over on our Facebook group page, our YouTube, our Twitter, as well as over here on TikTok. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait to get into it. You might be noticing I am rolling solo again this week. 2K Stu is back out, which I've been having back problems myself, so I know exactly how he's feeling. So big shout out, T's and P's goes out to him. He actually has to do physical labor for his job, where I do not. So I can only imagine how work is going to go this next week. So 2Ks, get healthy, brother. We need you. We need you. While we're doing some house cleaning here, there will be no show next Sunday. The wife and I, Mrs. Turbo, are taking off and going up north for a little weekend getaway. So I will not see you guys and gals after tonight for 2 weeks. So everyone enjoy your weekend next weekend. But yeah, let's get into this. I got a lot of good news. Excuse me, a lot of good news. We've had a lot going on in the sports world. But the vast majority of the show, we are going to be talking about whose butthole is puckering more in these divisional baseball races. So let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, like I mentioned, we're live over on TikTok, right over here. We're live over on Twitter, on Facebook, on our YouTube. So like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. Every little bit helps, and I do appreciate each and every one of you. And if you guys are on the YouTube channel or the Facebook page or the Twitters or X, if you want to call it that, I still refuse to call it X, but drop me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts on everything, and I'll bring it up on screen here, at least over on the TikTok. I can't do that over here. But over on the other platforms I can. And for those of you listening on your audio as you take us with you through your drive or your workout, we definitely appreciate the podcast side as well. So let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about some news here. Let's talk about some news. Hold on one second. There we go. My phone was trying to act as a camera. We don't need that. We don't need that. Yeah, let's talk about some news. First and foremost, the Olympics are done. This Olympics had me kind of feeling kind of weird. I mean, it was a great showing by the United States. As far as the medal count is concerned, we had 126 total and 40 golds. The 126 was the most by any country. The 40 golds was tied with China for the medal count. So there is that. But in other news, stay tuned to the end of the episode because we got some fantasy football talk. Our annual fantasy football challenge here for the podcast. We're going to set the date and time. So hang in there for that. I can't wait for that. And just to kind of give you an update before we jump into the news, we have 12 days before college football starts. We've got 25 before the NFL starts. And I believe high school football here in Michigan it starts either this week or next week. So football is around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we will be still highlighting, excuse me. We will still be highlighting the MLB as well as getting college and pro football ready to go. And we might have a few special guests here. So fingers crossed. I don't want to put anything out into the atmosphere quite yet because nothing set in stone. So I can't wait for that. I can't wait to bring you guys and gals that. So let's get started here with the news. Like I said, we've got, let's talk about some Olympics here real quick. The men's basketball and women's basketball both brought home golds. I believe both those games were a little bit tighter than either of those teams were really anticipating, but they played France on both sides. The French team played well on both sides, but United States came out with a victory on both sides. But this is a tweet from Tyrese Halliburton. It says, when you don't do anything on the group project and still get an A. Now, excuse me. He did play some minutes. So it's not like he didn't do anything for the team. But it's kind of cool that, with all of the all the news and racket about how Steve Kerr is playing or not playing players, Jason Tatum in particular, that Tyrese Halliburton kind of knew his role, kind of knew where he was going, and what to expect out of the whole experience. So I'm glad to see that, and it's not like he just rode the bench the entire time. He did get some run, he did get some play, get some action, if you will. But let's stick to basketball here. The big three of LeBron, Curry, and Durant were kind of, the elder statesmen here with this team, and rightfully so. And they garnered a lot of the attention. And if the United States were to lose, they would garner a lot of the responsibility of the loss as well. And I found this. This is a tweet from House of Bricks over on Twitter. It says, "This is wild." And it's a graphic that has LeBron, Durant, and Steph Curry in a picture. It says $311 million combined on and off court earnings in 2023. The other half of the graphic is Michael Jordan. It says $329 million Jordan's earnings from Nike in 2023. So these, the three gentlemen that we just talked about are playing, and that's what they earned on and off the court. And Jordan's sitting here big dick and going, I'm getting paid $329 million just from Nike, and I'm not even playing. So just kind of give you an idea where the money's going, who's, the rich are getting richer. But as far as Jordan being the GOAT on the court, man, oh man, it's hard not to think about him as being like the player financial GOAT off the court as well. So kind of a big shout out to him. Let's see. I think that's all of the basketball here. So let's talk some baseball. This one's here is near and dear to my heart, being a Red Sox fan. This is from Boston Sports Gordo over on Twitter. Breaking: all three of Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony, and Kyle Teo have been promoted to AAA Worcester, not Worcester, but Worcester, together per source here. One step closer. And this is kind of the big three that the Red Sox have kind of been banking on to be that next generation of great players to make this team relevant and, a perennial playoff team. So the team, the big league team itself is extremely young. These guys are even younger. So I'm really excited to see where this team is moving, where it is moving forward. And now we just need to get some pitching. Now the Red Sox just need to get some pitching. That's kind of what's been holding them back. Post All-Star break, they have like the worst or second worst ERA in baseball post All-Star game. The only one that's worse is the White Sox. So let's talk about these White Sox. Here's one right here. As you know, they were having a historically long losing streak here, and this is from Baseball Doesn't Exist over on Twitter. It says, if you bet $100 the White Sox would lose on July 10th, took that money and bet them to lose the next day, and keep repeating every day until today, which was 5 days ago, when they won their first game, and I believe it was 22. This was the 22nd game. They finally won. It says you would have made $765,405 in 27 days, which is insane. Now, if you were that's a whole lot of money. But on day 22 or that game 22, if you would have rolled that in, you would have lost it all. And to be honest with you, I would have pulled that bet, when they started playing the A's, because the A's are a bad team as well. And this losing streak, however, it wasn't quite the record breaker. It was a record breaker, I believe, in the American League, but not MLB. But yeah, this was bad enough for the manager to get fired. And you might be sitting there thinking to yourself, well, Turbo, if you lose 21 games in a row, how in the hell would you keep your job? And I wholeheartedly agree there. But would you want to be like the interim manager in like game 16 out of this run? I sure as hell wouldn't have. I wouldn't want to take the reins right then and there. Get the hell out of here. No, let he got us into this. Let's see if he can get us out of it. And he did, and then lost his job. That being said, now Grady Sizemore is, yes, the same Grady Sizemore from Cleveland. Grady's ladies can be excited once again because he is the acting manager of the Chicago White Sox. However, someone has thrown their hat into the ring of this coaching search, and it would be Jose Canseco. Jose retweeted a tweet from Fox Sports MLB, says, who should manage the White Sox next season? And he responded, Jose Canseco. So, I mean, yes, it is kind of a radical idea to think that, you know, Jose Canseco is going to be just an MLB manager, having no managerial experience that I'm aware of, and just being like, what the hell? Which in this case, I mean, it seems wild, but is it that far-fetched for the White Sox to do this? I mean, yes, they hired a 99-year-old Tony La Russa again. They have Ozzie Guillen saying, well, if they hired this guy this season, why was I passed over? I'm the one that brought the World Series here. Why am I getting passed over? And now we've got Jose Canseco saying, yes, I will throw my hat into this ring. And just how hilarious would that be? To me, that would be worth the price of admission right there. Seeing old Jose getting behind getting behind the bench. Now, I have a feeling he would be jersey, spikes, whole 9 yards. Love every part of that. However, it does seem a little ridiculous that Jose would pop in there. But like I said, it's the White Sox. You never know. You never know with this team. Never know with this team. And I know I have another one in here somewhere. Maybe I don't. What is this? Nope. Since we got this up, this was 4 days ago. Fox Sports MLB on this day in 2007. I almost said 2007. That would be absolutely ridiculous. Barry Bonds became the home run king. So in 2007, I almost did it again. We had a new home run king, however you want to mix it up and dice it. But he is the home run king. And in 2007 is when that happened. I just thought that was kind of cool. Let's talk about some. Oh, I did forget one basketball thing here. So let's go to this, because this is something I found was extremely cool. Kobe Bryant's stories and motivation on Twitter said, jobs finished. The USA wins gold 8-10-24. Now, what do those numbers mean? Well, Kobe wore all three of them. 8 with the Lakers, 24 with the Lakers, and 10 on the Olympic team. So, ironically enough, US wins gold on 8-10 of 2024, kind of paying an homage to, I'm sure that's not why they did it, but it's just a really cool coincidence that 8-10-24 are the three numbers that Kobe wore. Just kind of a cool aside. But yeah, let's switch gears back to baseball. This is from Nugget Chef at JHeyKid. Juan Soto is currently on track to be the 5th left-handed batter to produce multiple seasons with at least 180 OPS plus by his age 25 season in the live ball era, which is since 1920, along with Ted Williams, Lou Gehrig, Turkey Stearns, and Oscar Carlson. Turkey. His name was Turkey. That's blows my mind. But yeah, just kind of the rare air that Juan Soto was in. I apologize. My allergies have been acting up like mad this past week, so like I said, I do apologize. Hang in there with me. We'll power through this. But yeah, we've all been talking about how historic this run that Judge has been on, and rightfully so. However, I think even in a lineup that only really features 2 hitters, period. I mean, yes, the other guys help, the other guys fill in, but are they viable MLB hitters? I think you can argue either way there, but Soto just kind of gets left out, and Judge is doing his thing, which is awesome. But it just seems like Soto's there. Soto's there, and he's doing his thing now. I have a feeling that Judge's stuff is going to start slowing down. There's talks of him, possibly winning the Triple Crown. He's leading in the home run and RBI categories, but the batting average is where it kind of leaks out here. The MLB. Let's do this. Batting average, American League. In the American League, Bobby Witt Jr. is leading with he's hitting 347 after a monster, past 2 months, it seems like. And Aaron Judge is at 328, Stephen Kwan 325, Vladdy Jr. 319, and Yordan Alvarez is at 307. Now, like I said, and he's leading the home run race. He's at 42. Anthony Santander is 25. Come with me here. And as far as RBIs, he's at 106, and Jose Ramirez is at 97. So he's got a sizable lead in those two categories. However, the thing coming down to it is, are people going to pitch to Aaron Judge? And I think the answer is no. I think he's going to start getting the Barry Bonds treatment as well as he should, because that's just the type of hitter that he is. And whereas when Bonds was doing his thing, we kind of talked about in 2007 what happened. He hit well over 300. Had an on-base percentage of damn near 500, because it seemed like he was getting walked, if not intentionally walked, 1, 2, 3 times a game. So I have a feeling that we're going to start seeing this treatment to Judge, and so you're putting all of the pressure on the number 4 hitter. Now, I think one thing that could help with this is that if you flip-flopped Soto and Judge in the lineup, where you had Judge hitting second, Soto hitting third, I think that would help out a lot, just because he would see better pitches. Because are you really going to walk him to get to Soto in a big spot? I mean, maybe, but with the graphic that I just showed about what Soto's doing, I mean, that's a 1-2 punch that is, it's been proven all year long and thankfully both of them have been healthy. And I say thankfully because even though I'm a Red Sox fan, I love to watch Aaron Judge play. I love to watch Juan Soto play. So it's kind of with a heavy heart that I say that, but still, it's just awesome. It's just awesome. So, and the idea has been kicked around by the Yankee staff, I'm pretty sure all season long. So I have a feeling that here soon that's actually going to come to fruition, because you'd be silly in a big spot in a big game to pitch to Judge and then take your chances with the 4-hole hitter. Because I mean, any one of the other guys on that team, I'm not afraid of. Even if it is Stanton. Stanton strikes out too much. He doesn't get base hits like Judge does, like Soto does. He doesn't work counts like Soto does. So yeah, I'm not really. If Stanton's the one to beat me, okay, so be it. But Judge will not beat me. It just can't happen. It just can't happen. Let's see here. Do you guys and gals remember Big Al? We're just getting into the Little League World Series, both baseball, softball. Watched a little bit of the softball today. Excuse me. A little bit of the softball today. But remember Big Al? They're doing the little pre-game interviews. He says, "My name's Big Al, and I hit dingers." And sure as shit, when he got in the Little League World Series, he hit dingers. Well, he's still doing it. And this is a picture of him, many years ago. This is from Baseball's Greatest Moments over on Twitter. Big Al still out here hitting dingers. I love it. I love it. And if you find the tweet, there's video for both of them. So I highly, highly recommend kind of getting on there, and just because he's still doing it. It looks like he's in high school now. But yeah, Big Al is still out there hitting dingers, and I love every bit of it, every bit of it. And let's see here. Oh, here's some other news. We're switching gears here to college football. This is from Pete Thamel. International recording artist Pitbull is purchasing the naming rights to FIU's football stadium. He's expected to pay the school $1.2 million per year for the next 5 years to change the name of FIU Stadium to Pitbull Stadium per FIU board documents. Now, let's kind of unpack this for a little bit. And the reason why I grabbed this is because I don't think this has ever happened when a recording artist has purchased the rights to any field, whether it's collegiate, professional, there could be a hockey team where this has been done, but that's kind of beyond me. But Mr. Worldwide is bringing his talents to FIU. Now, one of the cool parts about this contract, like if you go through the weeds and kind of dig a little deeper, is that with his $1.2 million per year, he gets the stadium for like 12 days. And I have a feeling what's going to be happening every one of those days is there's going to be a concert. And on top of that, he doesn't have, because when recording artists book venues, they have to pay the staff. They have to rent the building. So in this case, he doesn't have to do any of that. He's already paid his $1.2 million. Here you go. Now, I'm not sure the seating capacity in FIU's football stadium. I'm assuming it's like 30, 40, 50,000. That's a lot of tickets. So Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide, is thinking outside the box, and I honestly think it's awesome. However, I don't feel that any of the iconic stadiums like Notre Dame Stadium, the Big House, the Horseshoe, any of that will be the naming rights will be sold to any artists like that. But I think it's kind of cool. It's outside the box thinking. Love every minute of it. Let's see here. We got We got Big Al. We talked about it last week where Jackson Holliday made his second major league debut, and man, is it coming a big way. Again, this is from the @JHeyKid. Jackson Holliday, 2 hits in his first 10 games. This time up, 3 homers in his first 3 games, and he hasn't stopped. This is from Talkin' Baseball over on Twitter. Jackson Holliday is the youngest player in MLB history to homer in 3 straight games. And to me, that's awesome because there were so many people just writing him off going, okay, this guy was your most highly touted prospect. He comes up and he sucks. He just blows ass, can't hit a fastball. If you hang a slider or a breaking ball, those were his the few hits that he got when he came up were on off-speed pitches. Now everyone's trying to pound fastballs by him, and he's like, hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Nope, I got this now. So kind of, nope, this is not happening. Watch me hit this ball really, really, really far. And to be on a team like the Orioles, where he's not, all the pressure, it's not like they're bringing him up to win. They don't need him to perform well to win. Yes, would it be nice? Absolutely. And there were so many people writing this kid off because his debut wasn't as star-studded as everyone had thought. And it just left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. And we're all like, hold on, hold the phone. If you remember right, Mike Trout was sent down after his initial call up. And we kind of see how that worked out. There have been many players that have been sent back down to the minors after making a not so stellar debut and have turned out to be extremely good players. Take, for instance, Max Scherzer. When he came over from the Diamondbacks to the Tigers, in that trade, he was a bullpen arm. He was not a starter. He was a bullpen arm. And his first handful of appearances with the Tigers sucked bad. So they sent him down to the minors, came back, kind of fixed everything, came back, and we see what that did. So when everyone was just going, oh man, this kid stinks. I can't believe that we're actually watching this. You're blowing smoke up our ass the whole time. And yeah, he really is actually good and very good. And to add on to it, he's 20 years old. What were you doing at age 20? I know what I was doing. And it was far, far, far fetched from what Mr. Jackson Holiday is doing. So I think the Orioles are in this day and age. I think they're happy that they hung on to him because he was one of the big pieces that everyone was wanting at the trade deadline. And I think the Orioles are looking back going, yep, we made the right decision. We made the right decision. And if they traded him, this whole, like the past 4 or 5 studs that they've had all look alike. So you'd be breaking up that group of folks. So it doesn't really make any sense to trade him because you'd have to go find another one that looks just like him. And if that's the Orioles' way to draft, they're doing a hell of a job. So I really can't fault them for it. But no, like in 2Ks and I have, pounded this drum for a long time. Ever since he was initially sent down, it's like, yo, calm down. This kid's going to be fine. This kid's going to be fine. Speaking of guys not being fine, this is, again, from Baseball Doesn't Exist over on Twitter. Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge have hit 109 homers since Anthony Rendon hit one. Now, if you remember back in the offseason, there was a big scuttlebutt or, a big to-do about him saying, baseball's my job. I like to go play. I don't like to go play. It is my job. It's not, I don't live for baseball. It's just a paycheck. And that rubbed a ton of people the wrong way, myself included. I'm like, yo, for one, this guy is hurt all the time. And when he would, he kind of made his name for himself with the Nats, signed that big contract with the Angels. He was supposed to be, that third piece to the puzzle, along with Pujols and Trout, to kind of take that team, postseason and beyond. As we all know, it's it's been documented forever that never happened. None of that happened, and a lot of it was because of Rondon being hurt or playing extremely bad. So I have a feeling if the Angels could take back one of the contracts of those 3, being Pujols, Trout, or Rendon, they would gladly take that Rendon contract back and just cut ties and never do it. So just kind of an interesting snippet here that 2 guys have hit over 100 home runs since Rendon has hit 1. It's not a good look. Not a good look at all. And I think that's all the news here, ladies and gents. So yeah, let's jump in. Let's take a peek at these divisional races as it pertains to baseball. Myself included, along with 2Ks, I think we kind of a lot of these races we're like, yeah, no, this is just going to be. Oh, I got it up here. This is just going to be, they're running away with it. There really isn't any point in covering any of this. Well, a lot of these races have tightened the fuck up really quick. Let's talk about the AL East. Talk about tight. I mean, you have the Orioles and Yankees have the exact identical record. They're both 70 and 49. So they're tied for the division lead and tied for the first wild card spot. Red Sox are trying to stay relevant. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Since the All-Star break, they have kind of went back to the mediocre Red Sox. I mean, yes, they had two series where they won. However, but they've been playing some hard competition. Just got swept by the Astros, and prior to that, they played very, very well against the Royals. However, Bobby Witt Jr. went bananas in the third game. But one of the, if you're looking for one of the bright spots here, they if the Red Sox and Royals are tied, the Red Sox have the tiebreaker because they won the season series. So at least you came out of that with something. But as you'll see once we get to the wild card breakdown here, you'll see that they're losing ground quick. Well, let's jump to the AL Central. This is one of the ones that has, dramatically changed. The Guardians are still at the top here. However, the Twins are 3.5 back, and the Royals are 4. The main reason being for because of this, one of the main reasons for this is the Guardians in their last 10 have won. They're 3-7. 3-7 in their last 10, whereas the Twins and Royals are both 6-4. So this losing streak for the Guards could not come at a worse time because the teams behind you are putting up wins. If the Royals wouldn't have dropped 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox, you could possibly see them over the Twins and a smaller game back, little cushion. But this division's it's interesting because we sat here doing our way too early pick'em sessions, and we said there is no way in hell that there's going to be a wild card team coming out of the American League Central. And boy, were we wrong. We could possibly see 3 out of the 5 teams make the playoffs, which is insane to me. Given that, the Guardians have a brand new manager, which Stephen Vogt is a lock for AL Manager of the Year. And if he doesn't get it, it's a complete crime. But the Twins are always kind of that Twins team. And I think a lot of us were ready for the Royals to kind of have, that take that next step and be, relevant, make a push for the playoffs. And boy, have they ever. They had their starting pitching staff is legit. I mean, obviously you could argue, which when 2Ks gets back, we'll have that discussion again, is who is your AL MVP? Is it Judge or is it Bobby Witt Jr.? And I think that race is going to come down to a long one. It's going to come down to the wire. However, I think Judge, if he remains healthy, still has the upper leg just because of the power numbers. But I think it's going to be way more of a conversation than what a lot of people think. Let's see here. Nice to have you back. Back It Up. So the Back It Up binge podcast. Long way to go in the long way to go in this season. Anything can happen in the end. The healthiest roster will go the furthest. I agree. The healthiest and the hottest. We saw 2 teams last year get to the World Series that I don't think anyone would have even thought about them making a deep run in the playoffs, let alone to the World Series. So health is availability is the best ability, along with who's hot. A lot of these teams, especially once we get into take a dip in the wild card pool, if some of these wild card teams can get hot, man, oh man, watch out. The AL West is if you're taking a poll of the most disappointing American League teams, I think a lot of folks would have put the Texas Rangers right there. The defending world champions, Texas Rangers. Especially with the shitty start that the Astros got off to. They're leading this division by a half game, and the Mets and Mariners are playing right now, and the Mariners were winning. So let's take a peek back here. It's 4-1 Mariners, bottom of the 6th. So, and like I said, the Astros already beat the Red Sox today. So Mariners win. They could be tied atop this division at the end of the day. But both these teams made some kind of sizable additions at the trade deadline. More so the Mariners on the offensive side, whereas the Astros way overpaid for Kikuchi. We talked about that, but Kikuchi's been pitching like a whole different person since getting to the Astros. So did they overpay? Who knows? If he gets them to where they need to go, then no, it was not an overpayment. But it still feels like it. Let's put it that way. Still feels like that. But one of the few divisions here where there really isn't. I mean, the Phillies are just, even though the Phillies have been sputtering here as of late, they're not the dominant Phils that we saw kind of early on in the season. But they have a 7.5 game lead over the Mets and the Braves, who are both tied 61 and 56. If you look at the past 10, Phillies and Mets are both 4 and 6. The Braves are 3 and 7. Actually, no one in that whole division is playing good baseball at all right now. So that kind of helps the Phillies keep this little cushion that they have. I really don't foresee either the Braves or the Mets overtaking the Phillies to get this to get this division, as well as if you look at the Central. The Brewers have a 7.5 game lead over the Cardinals. No one else in that division really is even going to make any noise at all. I mean, the Cubs are 9 back, Reds 10.5, and the Pirates are 11. Kind of sad to see that the Pirates are this far back, because I'm sure I'm not alone in saying that I really wanted to see Paul Skeens and that that Pittsburgh rotation in the playoffs. I think that would have been magical. But yeah, I think the Brewers run away with this one quite convincingly. Now here's the shocker, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the shocker. The NL West, the Dodgers. The same Dodgers that spent over $1 billion in the offseason. I know everyone likes to throw that around. However, Shohei's getting paid, was it $2 million for the next 10 years, and then all of his gets put on the books. But that being said, they paid Yamamoto, highest paid pitcher in baseball history. He's been hurt the last couple months. Tyler Glasnow has he's been their ace, and that pitching staff just really isn't. They made the trade for Jack Flaherty. Who knows if that momentum continues? Who knows what when it does get closer to the playoffs, how he's going to perform? But ultimately, this team is on a 3-game winning streak, winning 6 of their last 10. The Diamondbacks are 3.5 back, as well as the Pirates or the Padres, pardon me, are 3.5 back. Both those teams are 8-2 in their last 10. So these two teams are catching fire at the right time. Getting back to the conversation I was having with Back It Up Binge podcast, he said health, which is true. However, momentum plays a huge part of this. And if you're now, you could ask yourself the question: are the Diamondbacks and Padres getting hot too early to make that play? Once they get in the playoffs, is that momentum going to be fizzled? In my opinion, there really isn't a right answer to this, because if you need the momentum to get into the playoffs, cool. And then if it fizzles, okay, I get it. But if you're trying to save that momentum for the playoffs and miss the playoffs altogether, then I think it's all for naught. So this is the one that I'm keeping the most track of, because it's 3 teams rather than 2. And like I said, the Diamondbacks and Padres both are just they're 2 of the hottest teams in baseball right now. They're the only teams 8-2 in their last 10. The Astros are the only ones that are 7. Nope, sorry, the Cubs are too. Cubs are 8-2 in their last 10. But I believe at least 3, if not 4 of those were playing against the White Sox, which we previously talked about. So I said all of that to kind of say this. And if you look at the, let me move this over here. If you look at the percentages to make the postseason, just the percentages to make the postseason, and this is from Fangraphs. We've got the Yankees and Orioles at pretty much locks at 99. The Yankees are 99.6. The Orioles are 99.0 to make the playoffs. So I think it's safe to say that those teams will make the playoffs. The Red Sox percentage to make the playoffs is 37.1. And if you remember back, I mentioned the two teams playing in the World Series last year. I believe the Diamondbacks had a 14 point something chance to make the playoffs. So if numbers tells you anything, they're really, unless you're at a zero like the White Sox, some weird stuff can happen. Now let's speaking of the White Sox, let's take a peek at the Central. The Guardians are 93.2% to make the playoffs, Twins 82.4, and the Royals are 61.9. And AL West, the Astros are 63.8, Mariners are 54.5, and we go to the National League. The Phillies are 98.6, Braves 58.2, Brewers are 93, Cards are 13.5, and Fangraphs still really likes the Dodgers to make the playoffs, which rightfully so. But they've won this division, seems like 10 or 12 years in a row. They have a 71.4% chance to win the division and a 99.2% to make the playoffs. The Padres are 87.8% to make the playoffs, and the Diamondbacks are 84.3%. Now, I had this up here. I don't know why that I closed it, but let's take a look at the strength of schedule here. We talked about Milwaukee kind of having that division on lock. They have, let's start here at the bottom. Out of all of the playoff contending teams, the Yankees have the easiest strength of schedule remaining, followed by, I guess the next one would be the Padres, then the Phillies, then the Orioles, then the Mariners, then the Mets, Braves, Diamondbacks, Astros. Then there's a gap, then the Dodgers, Red Sox. Kansas City actually has the second hardest strength of schedule remaining. So yeah. And I'm pretty sure with Fangraphs, that's one of the things that they took into account was the strength of schedule. But yeah, it's just, I have a feeling it's going to come down to, on the American League side, who plays the White Sox, the Tigers, and the A's, some of those lonely teams at the bottom the most. That's actually going to have the kind of the upper hand on this. Yeah, if you look at the Yankees, they have 3 against the Red Sox, 3 against the Rockies, 3 against the A's, 3 against the Nats, 3 against the Rangers, and 3 against the Tigers. So that is quite the easy schedule. But on the flip side, they have 3 against the Orioles, 3 against the Guards, 3 against Kansas City, 4 against Boston, 3 against St. Louis, and 3 against Seattle. If you look at the Dodgers, they play on the easy side. They have 6 remaining against the Rockies, 3 against the Marlins, 2 against the Angels, and 3 against the Cubs. But like I said, the Cubs are 8-2 as well. So I think it's going to be very interesting in comparison to how everyone thought in the beginning of the season as compared to where they are now. Now, the last little tidbit I'll give here, and then I will jump into kind of my predictions as to where everyone's going to stand. Looks like the Dodgers are the betting favorite to win the World Series at plus 300, followed by the Yankees at plus 475, Phillies at plus 500, Orioles at plus 700, and then it falls off to plus 1400 with the Braves, Guards, Astros, and you kind of get the gist from there. So Vegas is not worried about the Dodgers being 3.5 games up in their division. They're not worried about the, their 6 wins out of the last 10. They're not worried about any of that. What they're looking at is they have the best players, and they have, they're saying that they have the best chance of winning. And I believe they got Mookie Betts back either this weekend or he's coming back on Monday. However, he will be playing right field as compared to shortstop like he did the rest, the previous games this season. So going to be interesting to see where that, how that lands. But definitely keep an eye on the Diamondbacks and Padres moving forward. So let's get into some predictions here. We, as a show, gave our way too early predictions, but as we sit here on August 11th, actually, before we do that, let's take a dip in the wild card here. Like I said, the Yankees have that first wild card spot, then the Twins and Royals. The Twins are half a game up on the Royals. The Red Sox are 3 games back, as well as the Mariners, and then that's kind of where it stops. But the National League, you have the Diamondbacks and Padres have that number 1 and number 2. Actually, they're tied. And then the Mets are the next one, followed by the Braves, because they have the exact same record. And this is the first time in a long time that we've seen the Braves on the outside looking in of the playoff picture. So just kind of goes to show you the injuries, the struggles that team has been going through. So it's going to be that's a team that I have flagged that kind of earmarked as to keep an eye on this team to see where they go. But I have a feeling that they're going to make some noise here moving forward, just because they are the Braves. I don't think this is just going to, they're not just going to roll over and die. But yeah, that's the... All right, let's go back to the standings here. Let me look at this remaining schedule here. I mentioned that the Yankees had the easiest schedule moving forward. It is not, and Baltimore's is fairly similar. They're 0.02. They're 200ths of a point away in winning percentage. So I'm just going to call that a wash. I know there's probably a lot more analytical people that are like, well, Turbo, it's 2 100ths. It really is. It really is. Let's just call a spade a spade. Let's just say they're pretty much even. Now, how many times do they play each other? They only have 3 more games against each other. Baltimore has 7 against the Red Sox, whereas the Yankees only have 4. So the Red Sox could play quite a bit of a spoiler here, and they tend to not play well against the Orioles, but they play extremely well against the Yankees. So this could be huge. The Red Sox could not only kind of determine who wins the division, but they could also go a long way in determining whether or not they're going to make the playoffs as one of those wild card spots. So I'm actually going to pick the Orioles to win this division. Obviously, the Yankees will be firmly in one of those wild card spots. The way Boston's playing right now, I'm not too confident. Not too confident in them getting one of those wild card spots. Their pitching is taxed. It's like they've run out of gas. And I hope that I'm wrong. That's the feeling that I get, is they've just run out of gas. As far as the Central is concerned, I'm still sticking with the Guardians winning that division. The Twins and Royals it's going to go between those two, and the Red Sox is going to be a fight for the remaining 2 wild card spots, because like I said, the Yankees will get one of those. And then taking a look at the West, so much of me wants to say the Astros, just because the Astros are the Astros and what they've done in the past. but it's just not the same. It's just not the same. Um, if more of their pitching staff was healthy, which they would probably not even be in this spot if their pitching staff was healthy, but I think that's what's kind of driving this team and the record. But shit, give me the Mariners. Give me the Mariners. I love what they did with the additions. You know, the Randy Arozarenas of the world. That pitching staff is too good to miss the playoffs. So give me the Mariners on that one. The National League East, the Phillies are running away with that one. The Central, the Brewers are running away with that one. The Dodgers, I do think the Dodgers will still win this series or win this division, but the Diamondbacks and Padres will both both get a wild card spot, and I gotta believe the Braves will get it. I have to. The Braves are the Braves for a reason. So I even though I'm not super confident, not confident at all, if they were playing better baseball leading up to this, it would give me a little bit better feeling, because it is not a good feeling over here. But there's just too much. You know, yes, they've lost a lot of talent due to injury, but there's still a ton more. And even getting back to the Red Sox, you know, we talked about the big three being moved up to AAA. Well, you still have Tristan Casas waiting in the wings, down there doing his rehab. So what difference is he going to make once he gets healthy and gets put back in this lineup? There's a lot of they're getting bullpen help off the IL. How are they going to look? You know, we've still got Liam Hendricks that we got in the offseason, knowing he was going to be not play for the vast majority of the season, if at all. And then there's even rumors of Trevor Story making a comeback this season. So there's a lot of what ifs in Boston, and if it comes down to it, there will be a lot of happy Red Sox fans. But as it sits right now, like I said, we're doing this on Sunday, August 11, 2024, and I'm not super confident. I'm not. I hope they change my mind. And yes, I know it might be kind of a kind of knee-jerk reaction just because they got swept by the Astros this weekend. But man, that pitching staff looks gassed. They look gassed, and there are a lot of young kids. I know they traded for Paxton to kind of eat up some of these innings. But man, oh man. I think that's it for the predictions here. Now I kind of teased it at the beginning. Fantasy football. I know there's a lot of people, everybody plays fantasy football these days, but we've been doing this every year that we've had the podcast. I believe this is year 5. I think I'll have to go back and check. I think this is year 5, but the fantasy football draft date is August 24th at 3 p.m. It will be a live draft on ESPN, like we've done in the past. And I'm almost positive that all the spots are filled. But if they're not, the 2K crew will be the first ones to get kind of get the invite to that. So if you're not on our Facebook group page, it's facebook.com/group/2K crew. Get in there, get active, and that's and. I'll post more about it in the group as far as the cost, how to pay for it, and we'll even make like an event so no one misses it. But yeah, 2Ks and I talked about it, and it's August 24th, 3 p.m. Cannot wait. This is one of my redemption tours. I had a very good draft last year. Just barely missed the playoffs. So this is the year. This right here is the year. So I cannot wait for that. Everyone loves fantasy football. It's one of 2Ks likes fantasy football. I think he loves drafting his team more than he actually likes playing. So that's kind of him. But yeah, and I will admit, hand up, I will admit, that my love for fantasy football has kind of dwindled a little bit, since we can just gamble on the games. And I probably log way more hours on FanDuel than I do ESPN fantasy. But the 2K crew really like it. I love talking shit about it. I love talking shit to 2Ks about it. So it's something we've done every year, so I highly doubt it will leave. It might change, but as far as just getting away from it, I highly doubt that'll happen. So really excited to get that started. And like I said, facebook.com/group/2K crew. Get in there, answer the 2 questions. I'll let you in just to make sure you're not a robot or a suckbot or any of those type of folks. But yeah, it's that group is awesome because it's an active group. It's an active group. We have about 500 members in there. I'd like to see that up around 1,000 here. So those of you that are in the group, invite people. Let's get this group bigger and better. And most of the time, I get a Facebook alert prior to an ESPN alert for breaking news. That's how on top of it this group is, and I love each and every member of it, and it is completely awesome. And it's free. Well, 2K crew, since I'm rolling solo, we are not doing a top 5 because it'd be kind of weird just doing a top 5 with one person. So when and like I said, just a reminder, no show next week. I will see each and every one of you again in 2 weeks. And everyone have a fantastic week. And as always, Jim Rome, we're coming for you.